Hey guys, it's Mario here with Junk Removal Money, the show that teaches you how to start a junk removal business and how to grow it. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do basic things to your website to get it ranking better for SEO. So what we're going to do on this exact video, we're going to do an audit. I send out these audits via email. So if you join my email list, you're going to be getting these emails every once in a while. It'll just say, hey, we're doing a free audit this month. If you'd like to participate in it, please send over your website and the service area that you want to service, and we'll take a look at your website and we'll do an audit for you and tell you what the things you need to fix are in order to get this website to rank. So if you want to be a part of this email list, go ahead and head over to junkremovalmoney.com and sign up for the email list. When you sign up for the email list, you'll also get my free letter that I send out to property managers in order to get commercial accounts. So if you haven't done so already, head over there and get that done. So let's get started. When I send out this audit form, I got a request to audit getjunkhelp.com. And this website was made for Houston. So essentially this guy wants to rank for junk removal Houston. So the first thing that I do is when I come over to a website, I want to make sure that their H1 tag is titled junk removal Houston. And so I looked it up and he has it right here, junk removal Houston, and it does show up an H1 tag. So that's good. That's the number one thing I do first. Then the next thing that I do is I check the title tag. And you can check the title tag by hovering your mouse over the little website, and it'll tell you what it's titled. So this website is titled Junk Removal Services Get Junk Help Houston, and then he names out a bunch of other cities. So the problem with this is that you want to be consistent across the board. So if your site is trying to target the H1 tag Junk Removal Houston, your title should also have somewhere in there Junk Removal Houston in that exact order. It can't have the words in, so junk removal in Houston. It needs to be exact. The next thing that I look for is the meta description. So that means that you're giving yourself a title tag, you're giving an H1 tag, and now you're giving Google a description for the business as well. So here's the description, and nowhere in this description does it mention that H1 tag again. So it should say somewhere in this description, junk removal Houston, and it doesn't. So that's a problem. So now it's inconsistent in 3 different locations. Now, the next step would be, is it written somewhere on this site besides the H1 tag? And you can check really quick by hitting Control F. And you can see here, there's only one on this whole site, and it's written here. So nowhere on the other body of the website does it mention junk removal Houston again. It mentions junk hauling and junk removal, but it never mentions it in the exact phrase ever again. And you should have this phrase included in the body of your website as many times as you possibly can. I mean, you can't be spammy, but somewhere around 5-6 times on that page would be great. The other thing with that is there isn't enough content on this page itself. There's about 400 words, and typically on a home page you want to have somewhere between like 1,500, 1,800 keywords, 1,800 words in total, and this website just lacks content. So the next thing is, when you're looking at these pictures, you can hit inspect and you can see what they're titled, and they don't have a unique title. So it doesn't say like junk removal Houston, junk hauling Houston. You should title these where it says alt, and these don't have a proper title on them. The next thing that I look at when I'm looking at this site is the schema code. So you can give these sites a schema code. Basically, it's a code that you're giving Google a chance to crawl on your site and learn more about your business with this code. And they're called local business schemas. And they basically tells Google exactly like all the details of your business. It'll tell it the name, the address, phone number, location, the services you offer. You can go into detail with those services, so you can put your keywords in those, and you can build out multiple schemas. And when I searched the schema markup, there's no items detected. So you're really missing out on the schema as well. Now, when we go over to Ahrefs and we do like an audit on Ahrefs, it brings up all the data on this website. As you can see here, Ahrefs usually gives you like a rank overall based on all these metrics, and you have no data. So what it's basically saying is it's ranking so low that it can't even give you a proper number. The next most important number is this backlinks. Backlinks are when other sites are referring you as a good source for whatever service you provide and where you're providing it. So if you have more websites referring you, then it's going to give Google more signals that you're a reliable source or that you're a good website for them to place you on page 1. So right now you only have 8, and that's just not enough indication that that you have more people backing you up. And then when you go over to the anchor text for the backlinks, you should have anchor tags that match those H1 tags or the keywords that you're going after. And these are just branded. These just actually they just have the URL of the site, which isn't a good idea. So all of this stuff that I mentioned all leads back to how many keywords your website's ranking for and the traffic that you're getting. The website only ranks for 2 organic keywords. As you can see here, one is position 58 and one's 69. There's even a third one for 63, which is nowhere near page 1. So that's the problem, is that you want to have all this stuff laid out correctly to rank for good keywords and to rank in good positions. Now, we talked about those H1 tags, and they're very important the way that they're written. And I'm going to show you why. I did another audit on another website, and I didn't get permission to do this and put this in a video, but I do know the owner of this site. He actually was one of the very first people that bought my Google Ads course when I launched it. So it's good to see that that he's doing a lot of these things correctly and that he's ranking on page 1 for junk removal in Houston. So I'm going to block these out so that I give him some privacy here. But I wanted to show you guys, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when we look over at the keywords, these are generic keywords. But when they start to become like specific to a city, which starts right here, junk removal Houston, it has 1,100 search volume per month. That means that when we're getting rid of all these generic ones and we come down to an actual branded one for a local area, you can see here that the search term that gets mostly searched is junk removal and then Houston. There's no words in between these at all. So that's why I was saying it's very, very important that when you give your site a title tag, it is specifically written like this. Because I've been doing this for a long time. I've spent over $1 million on Google Ads in the past year, so I know what search terms get searched the most on Google, and it is always junk removal and then the city name, and then it's junk hauling and then the city name. So whatever pages that you're building out, they should be written in that specific way. Now when you go over to this guy's website and you see this and it says it's good, I mean you're listing all the cities. That's good because you want to let people know that you offer this in multiple cities, but listing all the cities on one page is not going to help you rank in those cities. The way that works is each page is looked at individually on Google. So when you type in a search junk removal Houston, it'll bring up the best source for that specific page. Now, if you want to rank in another city or another town within Houston, then that page needs to have its own page for that city. And so when somebody searches that specific city, like let's say Clear Lake, it'll only show that customer that specific Clear Lake page. It won't take them to the home page of the site. That's why it's very important to build out pages for every single one of these cities. Have all those things in place that I told you about, like the title tag, the description, all of it. And then all this writing, you can't just copy and paste it and throw it on another page and then just change out that one city. You need to have all unique writing for every single one of your pages. And I know this is hard, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. But trust me, this is what's either going to make or break your business. This is what's going to get you to 2 or 3 trucks, more trucks than that, because you need to do these things in order to start ranking. And as this industry gets more popular and people start to come into this industry, some guys are just going to go all out and they're going to start doing these things correctly, and then you're just going to get lost in the shuffle. And it's not going to be good. So I suggest starting this off right. Start doing this now, because it is going to take anywhere from 8 to 12 months to start seeing these things start to rank in Google. And that is if you do this correctly. If you don't do this correctly, you're just gonna be wasting time. And then eventually you're just gonna give up. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. The other thing that I would say is anybody that is in this space that is doing junk removal and is thinking about starting the business, maybe you haven't started the website yet, you have to be very, very cautious of who you decide to do your website. Whether it's you or whether you're having a company do it, just remember that when you go to a company that does SEO, they are going to want to remake that website. They will never work with a website that has already been made by another company, because it could have been a company that, yeah, maybe they do graphic design and do website building, but they're more about aesthetics and they're not specific to the industry. So what'll happen is it might be pleasing to the eye, but it might not have any of these other things that we just talked about. And at that point, that company, in order to get you to rank, will have to rewrite everything and fix all these errors. And at that point, they're working backwards. So don't buy a website from somebody who isn't specific to our industry or who you're planning on having them do your SEO for a long time, because you're just going to waste money. You're going to have to buy more than one website, and it's going to be really frustrating. So with that said, I hope this helps a lot of you guys. If you're willing to do the SEO yourself, I would suggest following these things and making sure that you're, checking them off. Make a checklist. That's the biggest thing. Is if you don't have a checklist, you might not do all these things, or you might forget what you've done and what you haven't done. So that's what I do for myself. Even I've built over 100 junk removal websites in the past year, and I still work off of checklists. So with that said, guys, if you need help with Google Ads, you already know, contact me. If you need help with website creation or SEO services, I'm also available. If you haven't already followed me on Instagram, I'm going to leave my link down below. You can follow my Instagram account. I do have a junk removal group on Facebook where we talk about everything that's happening in the industry and what people need help with and that sort of stuff. My Facebook group, for my personal Facebook, if you want to be friends with me on there and send me a message on questions that you have about junk removal. If you do want me to audit your website, you can either send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, text me, email me, and I'll get back to you. But it'll be kind of a similar overview of how your website's doing and what things you need to do in order to fix it. So thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate all your support.